that. I remember you asking me earlier if I ever was involved in any of the protest music, and truth be told, I found that, although I totally agreed with the causes that they were espousing in their songs, and there was a whole lot going on in the early 60s, the civil rights movement, and a growing anti-war movement as we started sliding into the Vietnam War, and but I wasn't drawn to it as music because it was so much more enthralled listening to the singing of Bill Monroe or Ralph Stanley or Skip James or some of these great, more rootsy artists, and the way they played their music. It was just a lot more musical and interesting to me. But I do remember when Bob Dylan first hit the scene and everybody's making quite a fuss about him, and I didn't quite get it, but one night I heard him sing Only a Pawn in Their Game and Masters of War, and about the time he was coming out with songs like that, I really, really realized he was very different from all the other protest singers, because he had a much more cosmic overview. It wasn't about finger pointing, or it wasn't about polemics and polarizing, well, they're so bad in the South because they have segregation, and he was talking about a larger picture. And so all these years a lot of what I've done has been about the dance between the sexes, songs like Midnight at the Oasis, Don't You Feel My Leg, It Ain't the Meat, all the songs on the more recent stuff. But after just making my 35th album, I started thinking, well, what is there left to sing about? What? And I thought, well, because I can never sing about something unless I'm really into it. If you came to me with $1 million and said, here, make this hip-hop record or make a disco album or whatever, if I don't feel it, it ain't worth doing for me. So, and I thought, well, the thing that's on my mind these days is the amazingly dismaying, depressing state that the world is in, not just this country, but all over the world. I mean, we've spiritually so lost our way. Wars are escalating. There's more and more wars, more and more horrible technology that can make even the tiniest stupid tribal skirmish in the desert end up blowing up the world. So if these are the concerns that these people were singing back in the 60s, they're 100 times more dismaying to think about now. And so I came up with the idea of, first I thought I was calling it a protest record, and I quickly changed it to, I was going to make a pro-peace album. And because I didn't think it was worth protesting the current administration or dissing the people in power now. This is about something way bigger. The ways of war have been slowly but surely destroying us. And if you read the Bible and read early accounts of history, even in the Old Testament, people have been yearning for peace for centuries and millennium. But the whole patriarchal paradigm that makes it be okay to take the land or the women or the harvest of another tribe, another country, a neighboring country, or the minerals or whatever it is that you think you want that some other group of people have, and that it's just perfectly okay to go attack them, kill them, and plunder what they have. It's been the story of human history almost from day one, and it cannot be anymore. It just can't. We can't go along with and have that be an okay thing anymore. The whole notion of it is so retrograde and so pushing us to the brink. And even things that are not war in actuality, that have to do with plundering Mother Earth, it just can't be. So I thought I would, since people tell me my music's been a soundtrack to many a love and lust affair and all the rest that I was mentioning earlier, I thought, well, I want my music to be in some small part a soundtrack to nothing less than a changing paradigm in which things get more balanced and we just look at war and this whole way the human race has been marching down through time to hell-bent on destroying itself. it has to end. And so I'm picking a lot of songs. I'm doing 3 Dylan songs because he wrote songs even in the 60s that are even more apropos today. And but I'm also doing mostly songs that were written by a lot of the artists in the Black community, a lot of the soul artists of the 60s and early 70s, who were writing topical songs because they're very close to how life really is, not how the whitewashed picture of it on TV, on Leave It to Beaver and all the other, unreality shows that feed us what we think is going on in this country. So songs, a lot of songs like, for instance, Marvin Gaye's Inner City Blues, songs, I'm not doing What's Going On, not that song, but a couple of songs from that album. I'm doing War, What Is It Good For? I'm doing a lot of songs. And the cool thing is they've got a groove, they're appealing, they're not dreary, they're not depressing, they're very hopeful songs, and it just shows that these songs weren't written recently, but they express the age-old longing that all humans have for peace on earth. I mean, the whole notion of what was happening at that first Christmas, that's what people were yearning for then. The people were oppressed, people were being conquered and occupied by foreign invaders, and it's the same over and over again. From that day, people want a peace on earth, and they really want it now, and that's what I'm going to sing about. And I've formed something called the Women's Voices for Peace Choir, and I have a lot of wonderful guests going to join me on it. Odetta, Joan Baez, Bonnie Raitt, Linda Ronstadt, Phoebe Snow, as well as some people that aren't professional singers but who raise their voice for these kind of concerns, people like Jane Fonda, Marianne Williamson, the author Marianne Williamson, and others like that. And we're just going to join our voices together. They're going to only appear on a few of the songs, but that's part of what this is to try to remind people that there is another way. So that's what I'm doing next.